Today's episode of Good Times, Great Movies is sponsored by Tim Lego. Tim is a longtime listener. I believe he was one of the winners of our very first Halloween competition. I don't know which movie he made us watch, but he made us watch a movie. I'm sure we loved it. Sorry, I'm sure I loved it. I'm sure Jamie hated it. But we thank Tim for listening, and we certainly thank Tim for going to our Patreon page and giving money. Nobody needs to do that, so anyone who takes that effort, we greatly appreciate that. Tim is all the way from the great state. No, it's not a state. It's a nation. It's a country. It's a continent. It's all of those things. It's called Australia. That's where he lives, making him one of our international listeners, making this podcast an international, let's say, success. So thank you, Tim, very much. I hope you enjoy our Mystic Pizza episode that's, I guess, dedicated to you. I also want to take a moment to thank both Aaron and Michelle, who have upped their Patreon pledge. Michelle is now at the tier where she is able to force us to watch a movie of her choosing. So look for that later on near the end of March. Okay, let's get on with this show. A movie that is, much to my chagrin, not about a magical pizzeria. And what a shame, because that movie would have been so much more exciting than this one. Jamie?
Yeah.
Let's go watch Mystic Pizza. Hello, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Good Times, Great Movies. We are an 80s movie podcast, and every other week we watch a movie from the 80s and we talk about it. I'm one of your two hosts. My name is Doug McCambridge, and with me is Jamie Lorello.
Hello.
Jamie,
Hello.
It's National Pizza Day.
Delicious.
Did you eat pizza today?
I eat pizza enough to say that perhaps when our listeners are listening, I've eaten pizza on that day.
Oh, like while they're listening, you're probably eating pizza?
Yeah, I'm going to assume.
Oh,
I'm
my
going to
God.
assume.
All right, I like it.
Did you?
No.
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 Some Italian food. Although in this movie, it's not Italian pizza. It's Portuguese pizza.
Yeah, there's a lot that, as a man who has three daughters, up until about an hour into the movie, I went, wow, I have three daughters, just like these three girls are sisters. And I went, wait, I don't think Lily Taylor's their sister.
No, Lily Taylor's not their sister.
That long.
You really
for
didn't
me
know?
No, I didn't know. Did you know? You've seen this
I think
before,
I was on the inside track, yeah.
All right, okay. I thought...
You thought all three sisters?
I thought they all worked together.
Yeah.
And it wasn't until Lily Taylor was like, my sister's out of town. We got her apartment. And I went, there's four of these girls?
No, essentially they're three friends. Two of them happen to be sisters, and all three of them do work at the pizzeria.
And then very late in the movie, I was like, Julia Roberts is Portuguese? Was I supposed to know
Well, she
this?
had dark hair. She had very dark hair. So that's sort of Portuguese, right? I mean...
Nope.
No, you weren't buying it. You weren't buying it.
And what is the relationship
Okay.
of the woman who owns the pizzeria to these girls? Like, they're just her employees, right? And I know at the end she's like, you guys, you're like my kids. But there was never any mention like she and their mom grew up together or they're best friends or any... Like, these girls just went in one day, got a job here?
Well,
right?
It's a small town, right? It's a touristy town because it's obviously on the water or...
Sure.
But I'd like to think now, when I was, I worked at a pizzeria for a little while.
I know you did. I had so many questions.
So many pizzeria questions.
First of all, they do not sell pizza by the slice in this movie. I am convinced of it. Everybody orders entire pizzas and just sits at a tiny
it's sort of
table.
like a little sit-down pizzeria, yeah. And she does have sort of specialties. I would assume that maybe they sell it by the slice, but I don't think that that's the preferred in the area, right?
Jamie, we don't see a single person eat pizza in this movie until the food critic.
That is not true. Well, there's lots of pizza served. And then they eat pizza on their date, the babysitter man and
Oh,
Kat.
you're right, they do.
She brings
Yes,
them pizza.
yeah.
She brings the pizza also to her mom's work, but we don't see them eat the pizza.
I love how their mom just like is a lobster hunter, whatever those people would be called.
No, I think she works on the fish. She like shells them and sorts them and that kind of
Right.
thing. A lobster hunter?
Yep, a lobster
She's not
hunter.
hunting for the lobster. She's not out there like she's cleaning it. She's part of the crew that like cleans up the shellfish.
But maybe she fishes them too. I don't know.
I assume she was part of the second. I mean, I don't know. I've never worked on any kind of fishing docks before. I worked at a
Let's
pizzeria, but
pretend
not.
that we're from New England right now. Give me the play-by-play. How does fishing work?
Well, I think like Bill, like JoJo's boyfriend Bill, how he goes on the boat and they catch the fish. They
Listen,
bring it into the
also,
dock.
Is Bill mentally challenged? Are we meant to believe that he's a little handicapped?
Not at all. Not at all. He just loves his girlfriend and wants to marry her before they have relations.
Oh, he's so great. He is so great. Like, through the whole first part of this movie, I'm like, boy, everybody's making fun of Bill. And when he's like, I think that a man and a woman should be in a committed relationship before anything happens, I'm like, oh, that's why everybody's making fun of him.
Oh, you do kind of want to see, although you do see him at the wedding, you see his parents and his
Oh, I don't even know.
family.
Do
Well,
we?
we start out with the wedding. Let's just say.
Yeah, okay.
All right, let's
get
just
into
say
it.
what
Wait,
we are
do
doing. We know who we are, and we.
We sure do. And we know what we watched, which is Mystic Pizza.
That's right. That's 1988, right? Later in the 80s. And I think I probably watched it in the 90s.
And
I
I'm
think.
sure I'll forget to say this later, so I'm just going to say it now. Way back, and I don't want to compare Mystic Pizza to Parasite because I can't think of two movies that are less related.
Yeah.
But I told you that when we watched Parasite, I expected to see Demi Moore like shine on screen, shine through all the garbage, and I was amazed that she didn't.
Mm-hmm.
I have to say, Julia Roberts has it. Whatever it is, like this movie, and this is very early in her career, of course.
Sure,
like,
yeah.
it is apparent. Like, she is, even when she's not saying anything on screen, like she's a star.
She's got a certain quality.
Yeah,
well, she's also,
really.
she's much taller than the other two.
Lily Taylor looks like she could be trampled by anyone else in this movie at any given moment.
I love Lily Taylor's character.
She's so
and
tiny.
she's so neurotic, too. She's just like an insane little...
I really enjoyed her breakdown after she broke up. That was really great. You know, everybody just stood there staring like, this is not good. There's something going on here.
And she has a whole back and forth with them. And thanks, guys, for telling me.
Yeah.
Before she has her first breakdown, she first gets married, right? We open our opening. I'm just going to get into it, okay?
Let's go. Yeah.
So it is nice for the opening credits. We get treated to some kid pictures of our lead actresses, right? Some of them are superimposed and awful, photoshopped terribly together, where it's ones of the three of them that clearly are their heads.
It's laughable
Yeah.
at times.
Yeah.
I watched this and I went, oh, it is, because there are times, and if people aren't interested in watching this movie again, or, you know, if you're not interested in seeing it at all, it is on Amazon Prime. It's totally free if you subscribe to that service. Like, just watch the opening credits, because there are shots where they don't take the person. They take their face, just a face, and they superimpose it onto another child's body, and it looks terrifying.
It does. It does. It is. And then there's ones where they try to set the three of them together as if they had really grown up together. And again, it's on like a random picture and just three. It looks like they cut their heads out of their. But
And,
it's
like
nice
the very
to see.
edges of them are blurred,
Yeah.
so the real background isn't in there. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's pretty great.
It is fun to see these because it is clearly the actresses, so it's nice to see them younger and kind
It's like the
taking
opening of
us-
Growing Pains.
It's right, exactly. After we get our little opening treat, where there's a wedding happening. It's in a church, a Catholic church, I guess. JoJo, who is
Their
played by
names
Lily.
are all crazy. Why do they all have crazy, kooky, goofball names like
'Cause they're
JoJo,
fun.
Daisy,
Daisy
and Kat?
well, let's face it, Daisy and Kat are sisters. So
Yes.
clearly their mom was lonely, would have preferred.
Yeah,
Pets,
where's the
maybe.
dad?
Well, I think that it's a nice. She's obviously a single mama, and I think it's a nice kind of strong woman. You know, this movie in its own way has a little feminist vibe to it, in its own way.
In
I'll
its
say.
own way.
Yeah, I'll say that because they are kind of
let's
slutty.
not go that
but...
far, because if we're gonna beat up the witches of Eastwick,
Oh, true.
I don't know that we should push this movie toward feminism, because
Well-
it's all about these girls wanting a dude in their life. Like, that's kind of it. Now, whether that happens or not, and I think I know. Okay, no, well, we're going through the whole movie, so let's just go.
Let's
We
just
can
go.
talk about it. We
Let's
can
just
talk
do
about
it. All right, let's just talk about it. All right. Let's not label it as anything. Right? It's a movie about women. Doesn't mean that it has to
I can
be.
only imagine people are listening going, you idiots have been saying we're talking about it. Let's just talk about it for 20 minutes now. Just talk about it.
JoJo is supposed to be marrying Bill, who is a fisherman, and as you said, perhaps a little mentally handicapped. He has some issues. He's a good boy. He's a nice kid. So is JoJo. She's very sweet
Yeah.
throughout the movie. Her character is really sweet and kind and
There's
fun.
one, perhaps two characters that are objectionable throughout this movie. Everybody's on a pretty even keel of being kind of nice, you know?
Yeah,
It's just,
yeah.
we're just following a bunch of nice people interacting with other nice people.
Yeah.
Every conflict is resolved in the very next scene for the most part throughout this movie.
Nothing too complicated.
Sometimes in the same scene.
Sure. When it has to get done and when it has to get resolved, it gets resolved. Well, and in our first scene, JoJo is at her wedding and she's overwhelmed by the whole thing and she passes out.
Yes.
So the wedding obviously does not happen.
I always
and,
wondered what would happen in that situation. Like, do they just wait for the bride to come to? Do they continue? Like, I don't know. You see it on
Put some
America's
salt
Funniest Home
in her-
Videos. Like, you
Sure.
see people faint or somebody's hair catches on fire. And I always wonder, like, oh, what happens in that situation? Like this, it's postponed kind of indefinitely.
Yeah.
But I just always wondered, like, is that realistic, or do they just kind of like everybody just kind
I
of
think it
mills around
depends on
for
the
a bit? and-
severity. Depends on the severity, right?
She
I mean,
seemed this appeared severe. Like
Yeah. She wasn't wanting it. She fell down. It didn't happen, basically, right? I like how we get a couple of scenes, we get a couple action, we learn a bit about the girls, but we always have our common denominator. We always meet up at the pizza place,
Sure.
right? Because that's where the three of them work.
Or
So-
peg legs. We meet up at the pizza
Oh yeah, the
place,
bar.
or peg
The
legs,
bar.
the bar.
The bar, yeah. Well, peg legs fades out toward the middle end.
I
Like, then
know.
we're-
I wanted
which
more
I'm
peg
disappointed.
legs.
I know.
Yes.
It's really fun. It's fun.
Because I was
Um,
like, it's like all the people just went from the pizza place and just migrated over to peg legs. Like they all just went there together. It really is, like you said, it's a small town. If you watch the background characters, it literally
Are
is
they
like the
all-
same 30 people. There's a guy in a sailor suit constantly walking around in the background.
I hadn't noticed that.
Oh, you didn't notice? He's got the
No.
little hat and it looks like he's off a ship in 1920 and he just is at the
That's
bar. He's at the
amazing.
pizza place twice.
That's awesome because I bet they said it's like it's a water town, it's a harbor town, so you want to dress appropriately if that's what you're.
Dress
And this
appropriately.
guy did.
He's like, I brought this from home. Let's do it.
Was it filmed on location? Because there is a Mystic Pizza, which obviously is like
What? There
grossly
is?
popular. Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know
there's-
that.
Yeah. And apparently they sell some of their pizzas now in some local grocery stores. So if you
Oh.
wanted to get a bite of that Mystic Pizza, sure. Yeah.
Nah, I'm okay. I mean,
yeah.
it looked good, but I don't.
You don't want to know
Whatever.
the specials, Leo.
I
the
don't
special
want to
type
get a
spices.
frozen Mystic Pizza. Like, if we ever
Maybe.
if
Yeah.
we ever end up in Connecticut, I will go there.
Then
That would be great.
Yeah.
But it'll probably be like Cheers. Like, I'll go and I'll be like, oh, this doesn't look anything like it. This is kind of a bummer.
Yeah, I don't think it looks like the inside of the. I'm
Well,
sorry.
Okay. It's all right. I mean, I'll deal with it.
If we could get you back for a second.
I didn't even know it was a real place. It's like you broke my heart with something that you told me 2 minutes ago.
I am like this movie. I'm just taking him, I'm ripping you apart, and then by the end, don't worry, I'll pull you back together, okay? That's
Oh,
fine.
good.
So our three girls, we have our JoJo, who is not a sister, just a friend, and is supposed to be married, but is got cold feet about just the commitment part. She's totally in love with Bill. She says that even his wrists make her horny. She's that into him.
Yep.
But she's just, it's the whole commitment thing. It's the fear of getting older. It's the fear of being with one person. But as we find out later when his boat is, he actually kind of tags his own boat. His boat, he's got a boat called JoJo, obviously
Yep.
in her honor. Later on in the movie, it gets tagged and renamed Nympho because as much as she wants to be married or doesn't want to be married, she wants to get a little, what do they call it later on in the movie? Baffing? Don't they call it boffing?
Boffing,
She
yes.
wants to get her boff on.
We heard that term in Secret Admirer, but that's the only time I think we've heard that term on this show. Maybe in the 80s. I feel like that was a term that was like, Hollywood was like, we're going to trademark this. And for 6 months, this is a big deal. And then it just all went away.
I'm not buying it. It sounds like you're going to barf. It's too close to barfing, I feel like.
It kind of does, yes.
And they use foul language like in this movie. Like, I don't know why they couldn't just.
Yeah, they'll say fuck and then boff like right next to each other as though it's kind of like letting the audience know what boffing means in case they're unsure. They really do. It is a foul language filled movie, and most of it is by Julia Roberts.
Oh yeah, she's got a filthy mouth.
And this is kind of the tough part about watching, a movie that's 30 years old, because it was so tough for me to look at Julia Roberts and be like, oh, she's the bad girl of this group. I'm like, she's America's sweetheart. She's the hooker with the heart of gold. Like, she's not the bad one of this trio. And it was really tough for me to see her as that, even though she was just downing beers like nobody's business.
Yeah, she was.
Cursing like a sailor. Mm-hmm. It was still, like, I still just looked at her and it's like,
you see her as Julia Roberts. Yeah. She is Daisy. She's not Julia Roberts in this. Let's get it straight. She's Daisy Araujo. JoJo is kind of a ditz. She's kind of dumb. Like, at one point she calls Kat, who wants to be an astronomer, she calls her an astrologer. You'll be a famous astrologer someday.
And later she's like, I'm going to take those business classes. What's that business class? What's it called? Echo.
Oh, yeah.
That's like economics. She's like, yeah, I'm going to take that economics class.
So she's not the brightest, but she's sweet. And she's not, Daisy is like the slutty one. And she's definitely the fouler mouth of them, and
she's the one that has no clear direction, like no path. Like, that's her big thing is what's she going to do with her life? Is she going to work in this pizza place forever? For JoJo, that seems okay if she does that, because JoJo is so into secret recipes of this pizza. It's crazy. Like, half the time when she would bring it up, I'm like, is this a joke? She doesn't really care, does she?
She wants to know it.
Yeah, like, she'll be the one to take over this pizzeria when that lady from 2.5 Men retires. But, yeah, and of course, Kat, the good girl, the youngest sister. Like, she's a smart one. She's going to what, Harvard or Yale? Where's she going?
Yale. She's going to Yale in the spring.
You know, she's got her life ahead of her, and Julia Roberts / Daisy, just no direction. Not sure. And she's angry because she's aware of it.
Right. And she's angry too because she's got this goody two-shoes sister so it's the good and the bad girl. And Kat, who is going to Yale and is kind of their goody girl, has multiple jobs. Another of which, besides working at the pizzeria, is babysitting.
Oh, what is this all about? What this guy, first of all, how much did this director want Eric Stoltz to play this role? And Eric Stoltz was like, nope, I can't do it, man. It's like, I'll show you. Well... I'll get some guy that looks exactly like you to step in. What is going on? Like, at first I thought they were new to the area. They had moved in and were living there.
Right.
That is not the case because they then just leave.
Well, I think that because it's a vacation town, right? And it's like the summer, fall, maybe the end of summer, start of fall.
But they're not on vacation. He's working, right?
It's a weird. He is working on a house, not the house that they're staying in, right? But they go back to that house a lot because she's into the balcony there and where it's located, but I guess that's something you could do in Mystic. You could sneak into houses that are unoccupied.
Well, he's working on it. He's got the keys, I'm sure.
True.
He's not really breaking into it.
I'm assuming that other houses, like their summer rental or their seasonal rental.
I guess I had no idea.
I agree that that's a little blurry at first. Like, do they live here? Are they new in town? But he and his daughter, Tim, I think is his name, and his daughter, Phoebe, who's a brat, really.
Is she really? I thought she seemed okay.
She demands him. Read on the book.
Her mother's in Europe for some reason.
Yeah, the mother's
dad
traveling
has
for
to
work.
hire a nanny to watch her. This kid, I don't know. I feel like she feels neglected.
Oh, you felt for her. Okay.
I kind of did. I also thought she was dead when not Lily Tomlin. I
was loving it for Lily Tomlin.
I thought she was dead when JoJo pulled that mask off of her face.
Oh. Why she was singing to her when she was singing those Portuguese sleeping songs.
And she's in like a monkey mask. I'm like, what? Is it Halloween? Nothing else in this movie says it's Halloween.
No, at the pizzeria, pumpkins appear.
Is there? Okay.
Yeah, there's a season change. I'm guessing maybe, I don't know the timeline.
And she pulls that mask off, and this girl's eyes are kind of open, and her mouth is just wide open, and she's not moving. Her eyes like slowly. It was like the best take they could get where this girl couldn't keep her eyes closed. Aww. Anyway, she's watching this kid. She works at the pizza place and also works as a nanny.
And she also works at the planetarium.
Oh!
Yeah.
That was a scene that did not need to be in this movie.
That was just silly.
She's also working at the planetarium. Yeah. Does she go to school too? Because
no, not yet. It doesn't start.
But it's during the fall. Like this is the fall, so she's taking a break.
She says that she doesn't go to Yale till the spring semester. I'm not sure why she's waiting. Maybe to save some money and work.
Okay, it's a good thing you caught that because I had no idea. I was like,
she does. She says it a couple of times, and yeah.
Okay, good. Oh, okay, all right. I was not listening, but when she starts making out with that dude, I was like, she's 17. Yeah, I think she's a senior in high school.
Yeah. No. I think we're meant to believe they're all high school grads, but still, that's what I thought too. And he's like 35, and like he's just going for it. He's salty. Yeah, wow. Yeah.
I was kind of glad that he turned out to be the actual creep in this movie because I was like, every time they were together, I was like, I don't feel good about this. I don't.
Yeah, I know. He's making me uncomfortable. He has those Larry Nassar glasses. Like those weird, frameless, huge
Every
face.
time he showed up, I looked at him and I was like, what you're wearing does not go with your hair. Like, you should not be wearing those colors. Every time he was on screen, he's wearing, like, at one point, like a bright red lumberjack shirt.
Oh, that's just so
Like,
he could give it to her, though.
I was
Isn't
like,
that?
what are you
Is that
doing?
the sweater
This
that he
is
gives to her?
ridiculous. Oh, no. The big, like,
Okay.
Bill Cosby sweater.
Yeah.
No, that was earlier. The red flannel was outside when
Oh,
they were near a pond or the dock that he's so concerned about his. I understand he's concerned about his daughter, but when they were talking, how many times did he tell his daughter, like, stay on the porch?
yeah. Do stay on the porch.
Stay on the porch. Hey, I'm going to go upstairs. Stay on the porch. Don't leave.
You kind
the
of
porch.
think maybe something was going to happen on the porch. Like, weren't you waiting for them to go out and be like, "She's off the porch. Where'd she go?"
I assume he lost a child once.
And she fell off the porch.
Fell off the porch. A tragic porch accident.
Well, he alludes to times that because he too went to Yale, and he just seems to be a little unhappy with his place in life right now. He argues on the phone. He's an architect, and he's arguing on the phone with a client. At one point, they
have a very Juno Jason Bateman type of relationship.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean it's not to that degree.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
he does. He seems like I got this wife, I got this kid, but also like, even the kid at one point's like, I think they're getting divorced.
Yeah. She brings it up too.
Yeah. But he does seem like, he likes this young girl hanging around.
He likes getting the attention. That's for
Yes.
sure.
Yeah.
That's for sure. So who gets attention next? Okay, we got to go to our bar. Little small towns got to have a local bar, right? The Peg Leg. Right?
Yep, the Peg Leg Bar.
The Peg Leg Bar is where Kat and Joe, and of course, with Joe is Bill, and then some other guy who's just kind of there. He must be a friend of Bill's. We don't know the details.
Yeah,
Kind
I
of
was
fades
waiting.
out.
I was waiting to hear who that guy was. Nope, never came back.
No, he's not really with Daisy. He's just sort of.
I'm sure he's just on that boat later on.
Oh yeah, I think he's
But-
one of the boat dudes. Yeah. Who walks in with this crew of preppy kids, right?
I love it. When they showed up, I was so into it.
Yeah.
I was so into it. I was like, oh, this is going to be like preppies versus dock guys. Like a whole Goodwill Hunting thing's going to happen here.
Oh, yeah,
It never
yeah.
quite gets to that degree. But the one guy's literally wearing like a green turtleneck underneath the sport coat.
Oh yeah, it looks like a dickie.
And he's so afraid to put his pool cue back at the end. When they all leave because the girls want to, he like puts his pool cue and then he has to like hold it there and he like backs away. He is really selling it for the 2
I think
minutes
he
that
wanted
he's in
to
this
milk
movie.
his screen time. I think that's what that guy was trying to do.
Yep.
But they kind of stick out at the bar a little bit,
Yeah.
but they decide that they're going to play some darts. And Charles, the preppy guy,
Yeah.
we'll call him the lead preppy guy, makes a bet that he can get 3 in the bullseye with 3 shots. Right? Was it with 3 shots?
3 in the bullseye, and between each throw, he would take a shot of tequila or something like that. Yes.
So game on, right? Crowd gathers, and here he goes. Uno, got it. Dos, in it. Before he does the third one, he makes eye contact with Daisy.
Of course he does.
Sizzle.
Yeah.
Sizzle. He can't make it. He doesn't make
She's
the third
wearing the brightest red dress in an area that is just like wall-to-wall wood paneling, and even everybody else there appears to be wearing wood paneling. Like, she stands out against anything else in this room.
She does have some sweet fashion.
And he
Where's
really
that-
does. He misses that. I was amazed. I was like, this guy made 2 bullseyes in a row.
Yeah,
How's he doing
does.
this?
Mm-hmm. But he moves on. It's a bet lost. He pays his money, and
Yeah.
he moves on to play pool.
Moves on to play pool. Kind of ditches that girl that he's there with.
Well, she's kind of like,
Who is she?
I don't play. I think it's his girlfriend or
I
his.
thought so too, but I wasn't sure because at no point later does Julia Roberts say, "Hey, who was that girl you were with at the
Well,
bar?"
and later she gets mad when he's with the sister, but it's not the same girl, is it? I don't
No.
think it's the same girl. Okay.
No. He was not at the bar with his sister.
No,
Yeah,
Lorna. That's the girl's name at the bar.
This
Lorna.
is my sister Lorna, and that's how he should talk every time he talks.
Oh, Daisy, you're Portuguese.
He says oh my God, I wish I remembered how he pronounced Portuguese at the end of this movie, because it is a train wreck. He doesn't pronounce the word right.
I don't remember, does he not?
Oh, it's crazy. It's oh my God, I actually want to go back and watch it right now.
Portuguese, maybe?
No. It was like I think he said a Portuguese. I think he said he referred to her as a Portuguese. So no S.
A single Portuguese?
And maybe, I don't know, maybe that's how the Portuguese say
Portuguese?
it. A Portuguese, yes. A Portuguese. It sounds like a pot-bellied pig or something, like an adorable little pet, like a freak animal where you just mix two things together.
It's a Portuguese.
A Portuguese. I got a Portuguese. It's adorable.
He goes from playing darts to playing pool. His girl who's with him doesn't want to play pool with him, so he chooses Daisy as a pool partner. She's amazing at pool. She's so good at pool.
He teams up with her, and the guy with the turtleneck is with the other girl, whoever the other preppy girl is. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. And she's really bad. And I love how the guy with the turtleneck's like, it's okay. That's why we pair up boy-girl to make it even.
Yeah.
And then, of course, Julia Roberts has to go and run the table.
And she does.
And the guy's girlfriend says, like, oh, you're one of those hustlers.
Yeah.
And everybody looks at her as though she just called her a whore.
Yeah, it is. She did. Yeah.
And I was like, a hustler? That's not a bad word. Like, she's really good at pool. Why is everyone, and I mean everyone, the preppies, it's almost like there's a record scratch and the whole bar turns when she says hustler.
I think it's just because it's obvious that she's so, like, tense with her for, she's playing pool with her man and she's so good. And I you're right, though, because out of all the foul language used in here, she could have very well called her a whore. Or
just call her a townie. Or just call her a trashy townie. Mm-hmm. That would have had way more of an impact than that.
Yeah. So he leaves the bar, though, right?
Yeah. Uh-huh.
He leaves. She leaves, but she's kind of schmitten. She's kind of into him, right? She buys a dress with a giant bow on it.
Oh, my God. What?
Right? It's a great dress.
$160, first of all.
It's pretty expensive, but she knows she's going to bring it back after she wears it.
Yeah. I love how
it's all good.
She tells Kat her big plan as though she's the only person to ever think of this. I'm going to wear it somewhere at some point, and then I'm going to return it.
I'll just bring it back. There we go. So she's kind of falling for this preppy guy a little bit, even though she's only seen him once. And Kat is kind of falling more and more for this married man. Mm-hmm. He tells her the tale. I think he tells her the tale at this house that he's working on of this.
It's like a ghost story.
Guy,
I kind of faded out during this.
It's something about a man that waits for his woman by the water, and it's got a sad ending because the woman never comes, or I don't know. Either way, she's falling more and more in love with him, and he's kind of playing into it. The girls they steal some beer then from
There's
Bill's
a lot of
boat.
this movie made me very nostalgic for being like 20. Like just being like, you get up and you go to a crummy job or something, and then you go out and you drink.
You find your place to drink. Yeah.
You just go to this job and then you go out because that's all they're doing. Because you're right. The next scene, they just steal beer from a boat and wander around the docks drinking.
But in their drinking, we find out how troubled Daisy is because
Daisy gets hammered off of this light beer
so quick. Yeah.
They get the beer and they walk from one end of the dock to the other. She is wasted.
You gotta wonder if Daisy didn't do some shots or something before meeting up with everyone.
I'm sure.
How'd she get that?
Because she is slurring her words and stumbling all about. And this is really where we find out that, like, JoJo is considering not marrying Bill. It's not just she was nervous or had cold feet. Like, she is seriously considering, I don't think we're going to marry this guy. It's not time. I think she just, and I get it, because we don't know how long they've been seeing each other. It seems
Right.
to me like she just wants to see him for a while longer before they get married. They don't seem to have, like, he even, at one point, he's like, my parents' house, your parents' house. And I'm like, oh, they both live with their parents. Like, they're not even
Right.
independent adults.
You're
So,
concerned.
I'm just saying, I understand it from both of their
Yeah,
points of
you
view.
could see where she's a little hesitant, maybe. I do like how when she
She's
expresses,
got her whole life ahead of her.
yeah, she still has to learn that recipe, and he might steal it
He
right
does
when she
not
needs
seem
it.
that sharp, and I just am a little concerned.
I do like how when because you're right, JoJo's not sure if she did the right thing by not marrying Bill, and she checks in with them a lot. Like, you guys think I did the right thing, right? And they never say that they agree or disagree. Like, they're just like, they're very supportive, though. They're like, yeah, you have to be ready. It's for you, which I think is nice.
It is nice, and you're right. It is interesting that nobody ever gives her an opinion on this.
Well,
at
she
all.
kind of talks
Nobody
herself
even
in
says
circles.
like, "Hey, Bill's a pretty great guy," or
Right.
"I'm not sure you're right together." Nobody says anything like that to her throughout this movie.
No, they just let her talk her circles, and she does. She does. Somehow we flash forward after the drunken night. Obviously, we've gone to the pizzeria again.
Right.
Daisy gets off her shift. I like how their T-shirts say "A Slice of Heaven." It's a great little logo for a pizzeria.
Yeah.
And Daisy gets home from work, and who is at her house? But the preppy kid somehow tracked her down and is now hanging out with her mother, who doesn't seem at all happy. Her mother basically calls her out in front of this kid, basically calls her a slut as she's like, I know how long dinner takes.
Oh, I love that. Yeah, that was pretty great. And she's like, I didn't know you were going out to dinner. I had no idea. It would have been nice if you had told me. And I was like, wait, so this guy just showed up,
Yeah.
said to her mom, we're going out to dinner? We have plans? Like, what did he tell her mom? And, like, she's totally on board, but it is great how she makes him wait. She's like, no, you sit down. No, I'm going to be a while. Like,
I need to get ready, because now you're here. And and she puts on her famous bow dress that she just got.
Oh, my God, yeah.
And they go for a drive.
And this movie is, at this point, I realized that I have been hearing saxophone throughout this entire movie. This is wall to wall, like,
when they
blaring
first meet,
porn music throughout the movie. And it's also like a lot of I feel like this movie wanted to be Dirty Dancing. Like, it wanted to take place in the 60s. All the music is from the 60s. But, like, they just didn't have the budget. And their ideas about, like, there aren't a whole lot of progressive ideas in this movie. It feels like Dirty Dancing. It feels to me like they wanted it to be more of a period piece and they didn't want it to be contemporary. Like, this could have easily taken place in 1952.
Well, I guess in some ways, but I think it's because it's small towny. I think that's why
it's small towny. It's like Catholic. It's Irish. It's very
Portuguese.
Yeah.
There's no Irish.
Oh. Are you sure? Bill looks a little Irish.
Well, Bill might be Irish.
Portuguese. I forgot. They're all Portuguese. It's crazy.
There are a bunch of Portuguese. Portugueses. Portuguese.
Yep.
They're Portuguese.
So they go out.
They go for their drive. They get a flat tire.
Where's the spare? You idiot. You can't just drive around on a spare tire like that.
She is not happy when she hears that news. She looks at him like she's going to eat his face. She's like, what? And then they have to hitchhike for a ride, which seems very unsafe, but I guess you didn't have cell phones then, so that's how you're getting to where you got to go.
There's a lot of this movie that could have been, when he's like, this is my sister, I called you, you weren't home. Like, cell phone would have solved that problem.
Would have solved the whole problem,
like,
right?
grandmother has strep throat or something, whatever he said.
Oh, I forgot what his
We
grandmother
couldn't go to Geneva because...
Oh, no, she had a migraine. My grandma had a migraine.
My grandmother has a migraine, so we can't go to Geneva. What? She'll be over it by the time you get there.
Migraines are heavy. They're heavy for
You're
a
right.
little
You know
lady.
what? I don't know his grandmother. You're right.
You see? All of a sudden you think that little kid Phoebe's an angel and the grandma's a liar.
I like how
They're
she's dressed like a
judging everyone.
pirate. She has like a big pirate do-rag at the beginning of this movie. The little kid,
does?
Phoebe.
Oh, the kid.
Yeah.
I was like, we never see his grandmother. What do you mean? Did you see her as a pirate?
I want to see a grandmother at that fancy dinner table dressed like a pirate. Okay.
You do get to see Matt Damon at that fancy dinner table. Anyway, we're not there yet. So
Nope.
they hitchhike. They finally get a ride because he pulls down his pants.
Oh, it's hilarious.
That gets them a ride. They end their day at this fancy dinner where he confesses to her basically that he's on vacation from law school, right?
Right. Well, it's not much. It's not really a confession, Jamie. A confession happens later. This
Oh,
is
yeah,
just
that's true.
taking some time off.
Yeah. Mhm.
Hey, I'm just living it up. And my thought was, with your friends? Like, did your friends take a vacation from law school too?
Right.
Who were those people with you? Where did they come from? And where are they now?
Yeah, where are they now?
Yeah. We never see those people again
No.
in this movie. I wanted Turtleneck to come back.
You really did. You wanted to see that mock turtleneck
Yep.
back again.
And after this date, smash cut to planetarium.
She does a good job, though, of talking about the stars.
I love it when they walk out of the planetarium and it looks like the size of a tiny post office.
It does. It does look like a tiny post office. That's perfect. Well, she gets nervous, though. Kat works at the planetarium, and Tim, the babysitter guy, walks in, and she gets nervous, and for some reason he came to see her there, maybe to drop the kid off. I'm not sure.
No, because
But-
they walk out and he's like, "Oh, it's time for somebody's nap." She's
Oh
super
yeah,
sleepy.
she's cranky because she's a bird.
They just came to see her.
because he's into her. Because he's into her, and he's totally inappropriate. That's why.
Yeah,
Then we're back at the pizzeria, right?
all over.
Is-
You just jump all over in this movie. Yeah, it is really just like but. No scene lasts more than about 2 minutes, and then we're on to a different location.
Well, and we have
Yeah.
so many different scenes. We have to see JoJo, and we have to see Daisy, and we've got to see Leona. So now we're at the pizzeria. I think this is when we see the food critic on the TV, right? This
Fiona.
is-
Did you say Fiona?
No, Leona. Leona.
Who's that?
That's the owner of the pizzeria.
Oh, okay.
The
Sorry.
3 men and a, or what is it?
3 men and a Charlie Sheen.
The Charlie Sheen show woman,
Yeah.
housekeeper. Right? Isn't this when they see the guy on the TV that
Yes.
does the food
He is
critic?
the Fireside Gourmet.
Oh yeah.
He's
at
a.
you.
I guess. Like,
Is
they're
this the
so-
most notes you took? Was
Oh.
on this guy?
No, I wrote his name later because I was like, I better write this down because I think he is broadcasting from a fireside, so that's why it's called the Fireside Gourmet. And it's they're so wrapped up in this. I'm assuming local food
Yeah.
critic. Like he's not national. He's like a local food critic, right?
I think he's pretty local,
because it
and
looks pretty low budget.
they think that they should gear themselves toward him. Maybe have some designer pizzas, things
Sure.
with goat cheese and that kind of thing. But you don't monkey with tradition. That's what Leona says. That's what she goes by. This is her old school recipe taught from her ancestors, and she's
Yep.
keeping it.
And
Right?
she hates this food critic. by
Oh
the way.
yeah,
like
she thinks he's a
just
jerk.
hates this pompous creep, and I get it. But the
Yeah, sure.
girls are totally into it. They're like, maybe we could get him to come. And I didn't know that's how food critics work. Did you just call them and tell them to come to your
All
restaurant?
right, I don't know how they work. I think that your restaurant has to be somewhat noteworthy for them to be.
It seems odd that he would go to Mystic Pizza.
Wow, he does, but let's not give that away. Hey, wait,
Right.
can we take a minute to acknowledge the dishwasher guy at the pizzeria?
Wait. Are
Because
you
he's
talking about-
like,
Are you talking about the old man?
yes.
Okay, all right. I didn't know. Is he a dishwasher or is he
Well,
making
he's washes
pizzas? What is he doing?
dishes.
Who is
she
this
makes
guy?
the pizzas. I think it's her husband.
I thought so
But
too.
he
Okay.
doesn't have many, he doesn't really say anything, I don't think, except at the end.
Like he just kind of pops his head in frame every now and then. It looks crazy.
Okay, thank you. I just had to acknowledge him. I didn't want us to talk about this whole movie and not talk about him.
Yeah. Because there are times where the girls do something or say something and something happens, and you just see reaction shots from people.
And his reaction, like he gets excited. I'm thinking about when they do get the Food Critic and they get a good review, and he's so excited and like high-fiving everybody. And I was like, wait, where'd that guy? Oh, it's the dishwasher.
Half the time, like, oh, he's still in this movie. This is great. Or he'd just be in the background, like this crazy bushy gray hair. Yeah, they have 5 employees at this pizza place. I really didn't pay that much attention to him during the movie, but yeah, he was a lot of fun.
Yes, exactly. For sure. I don't even know. Leona's husband, that's what we'll call him. Oh, this is a cat goes and babysits, and she gets it's very weird because I think it's very weird. So she babysits, she puts the kid to bed, and he's home. She's kind of like a nanny because sometimes he is around even though she's there taking care of the kid, right?
Yeah.
But she's going to drive home, and she rides around this little scooter, right? She scoots around town. He takes off his sweater. Like it's a full over, not like a button down, here's my little sweater, keep your shoulders warm. It's like a full, he's got to take it off sweater.
Oh yeah, it's not like here's a Letterman jacket and you drape it over her shoulders.
No,
he has to pull it up over his head, pull it down over her head. She's got to get her arms through it.
It's huge on her because it's his sweater, but whatever. Yeah. He's like, it's cold out there, and sends her on her way. Now she's like, oh my God, she couldn't be more excited. She hops on her scooter and she's thrilled. She creepily watches her sister make out with her preppy date.
Yep.
And then I do love when the sisters, obviously Daisy notices the sweater. She's like, whose sweater is that? It's a guy's sweater. What are you doing with it? And Kat's trying to kind of blow it off. And Daisy gives her a box of condoms.
And she's like, oh, the guy wears these.
Yeah.
She has to rummage through. Oh, it's so funny. And then Kat takes them and throws them back at her.
Yeah, it's a little like, we're sisters, right?
And because somebody just threw a box of condoms around, the next scene is JoJo and Bill having sex in the bathroom of the pizzeria where she works.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't like that, Jamie.
You're not into that. She's making bad choices here. This is where maybe she's not mature for marriage. And there's a little old lady waiting to go in the bathroom, right?
Who is listening through the door, too. This old, perverted old lady is really interested in what's going on.
She's curious. That's all. That's all it is. Uh-huh. Curiosity. This is when everyone's kind of getting their action on. So,
right, yes.
JoJo gets her action in the bathroom.
Mm-hmm.
Daisy gets to go on another date with the preppy boy, and he takes her. This time, he drives her to this empty house. So is this like
an empty mansion?
I'm confused because later she does have dinner with his parents. That's not at this house.
No.
Like, do they have more than one house, or more than one house on the island? I guess.
Right. I think that this is their summer home. Wait, you're right.
Because later is
why would they have two houses there?
So and this house is totally closed down.
Yeah.
There's no. He even said, I think the dad cuts the electric while no one's here, and there's sheets all over the furniture.
You're right, because it's not like later he's like, oh, come to upstate New York where we have our other house. Like it's literally they're just at another big house. Mm-hmm. Eating
with the
dinner.
Whole family's there, yeah.
I guess these are two separate houses, but you're right, that doesn't make logistical sense.
Yeah, it's a little confusing.
I guess he lives there?
Yeah, that's the other thing, is that's where he's staying while he's on the island?
He says he lives there without power.
Wow.
It's because Dad won't turn on the power for him, so he just lights a bunch of candles and makes a fire, and I'm like, this is a sad existence.
Yeah, and are you squatting? Are you squatting at your own house?
At that point, yes. I understand that your family lives there, but you don't have power. You can't keep food in the fridge. Like, what is he doing?
You're never at Mystic Pizza. You can't get pizza by the slice there, so what are you doing? But it is this house in which they have their rendezvous. Julia Roberts does a little, or Daisy does a little sort of she leaves a breadcrumb trail of her clothes behind for him to follow, creepily into his parents' bedroom.
Where she has put on a shirt, which I assume is his father's shirt.
She says it. He says that's my father's, and she goes, I don't think he'll miss it. Oh.
No, I don't.
Again, a little creepy. A little creepy to me, but,
A little creepy.
whatever.
Again, blaring saxophone music through this entire thing.
Yeah.
But after sex, he gets really deep with her.
Yeah,
He wants her to know he was thrown out of law school, Jamie, for cheating on a test.
Because he doesn't fail. He was going to fail.
Jamie, do you know something? Rich people have problems too.
Yeah, they do. I hear that.
Yep.
They're kind of falling for each other.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, this movie is just because the very next scene is Kat using that telescope. She's so into this telescope that this redheaded father has.
Yeah. And he doesn't even appreciate it. Yeah.
He doesn't care because she's outside. She's like, he shows up, and I love how the first thing she says is, "Your daughter's asleep. I can hear her from here."
Yeah. Exactly. I already checked on her. She's fine. She's asleep.
She's fine.
She
I
doesn't
can hear
need
her
you.
down.
Yeah.
Do you mind if I'm using this? And I just wanted him to say, "No, I don't, nerd. Do whatever you want." But he does the next best thing. Not calls her a nerd, but says, "You want some soda or juice?"
Or some juice. Do you want a juice box? How about a high C?
You just gave her your sweater, which is like a total sleazebag come on
Yeah.
move. The last time we saw you, and now you're offering her juice? You weird, creepy perv.
Well, she takes it to another level. She says, because he's pouring himself some wine. So she says, I'll have that wine. Thank you very much.
Uh-huh. Yep.
And they glare at the stars and have another lovely...
Glare at the stars like they're egg. You son of a bitch. She looks a little older than 18, maybe just a little.
Mm-hmm.
And he doesn't really look 35. Now, it's still inappropriate, but it was one of those things where the more, oh man, this is going to sound bad. The more I saw them together, the more I went, I can see this.
It'll work. This'll work out. I know. You were disappointed when the wife came back at the end. You were like, no, they have something magical.
They're not going to
here.
go to a parent-teacher conference and the teacher's going to go, whoa, this is
Yeah,
terrible.
I got to call services
Right.
on this.
They kind of look like they are closer in age than they're playing in this movie. But
Well, yeah.
it's just an aside. It's still not good. Don't do this,
Okay.
people.
Oh, this is then where JoJo and Bill are trying to get it on again. This time at JoJo's house on her living room floor, I guess.
I kind of want that light up Jesus that's
Oh,
there.
I know. It's pretty great.
Crazy looking.
It's
Is
pretty
it a
great.
nightlight? But it's huge.
It's huge. It's huge.
It's like a Jesus bust, but he's wearing it looked like he's wearing a necklace with a big heart around it. And it's glowing.
It's the glow that gets you. We, growing up Catholic, like my family, they had these huge Mary statues and a Jesus one, and there was another saint that they had, and they were pretty big size statues, but none of them glowed.
No, this looks like something that people would put out on their lawn around Christmas.
Yeah, it was, and it's very distracting to Bill. He can't have sex with this Jesus staring at him. Mm-hmm. So he tries to convince, and she's now like, well, let's go to my room. And he's like, your parents are home.
I'm so confused by what. So they're going to have sex on the floor in the living room? Because her parents are home?
And he thinks her bedroom is a worse spot. I would think the bedroom.
No, she thinks it is. He's all down to go to your bedroom, but maybe her parents' bedroom backs up to hers?
I don't know.
That's the only way this kind of makes sense.
Well, then it doesn't, because he's finally trying to get out the door, and he's like, I can't, I just don't want to. It's not going to happen. And she wants to jump his bones. So she's trying, and he's trying to avoid, and she tells him she's going to scream, which
Yeah,
is
what?
ridiculous. And she does, and of course it wakes up her parents, and now her dad's pissed because he's
Well, he's got his pants down.
yeah, his
and
pants
he's
are down, and
running
she's in
around,
half in a dress.
He's
and,
apologizing and jumping out the door and running and still apologizing. She's like, "No, Bill, just run, just go, just get out of here."
I like when he tells the next day. She tells the girls the story,
Right.
and she kind of reenacts how they were, her dad was
Uh-huh.
chasing him. But this is then when Bill is back on his boat, and he's changed the boat from JoJo to Nympho.
Yes.
And like half the town is gathered around to see this boat.
Well,
Right.
to be fair, the bridge is raising to let the boats through. So it's
That's
a lot
true.
of people just waiting, standing
That's
there to
true.
cross this bridge. But they witness JoJo basically telling him, "The wedding's off, you creep, you can't name your boat the Nympho," and he's
Yeah.
apologizing, and the guys that he's on the boat with are laughing at him, of course. When she's done, this whole random group of people just start applauding. They just start cheering for JoJo.
That they would.
They loved it.
Well, he is like, it was a joke. It's not a big deal. I love it. She says, "I don't have to marry an asshole. It's the 80s.
Yep.
Is what she says to him. Because, yeah, she thinks it's an asshole move. She's got the little town behind her.
It's
And-
not a good move, Bill.
It's really not,
a good
Bill.
move.
Yeah.
And you know what happened. You know Bill told his fishing buddies
Yeah.
about this, about what happened last night, and they thought it would be hilarious, so he did it, but he's a dummy and didn't think
Yeah.
that this might be a problem. And so he, thought she would find it hilarious?
Yeah, like she was going to laugh about
Like
the
they
booking.
could have
Yeah.
just sailed on by, and she probably wouldn't have noticed when he
She would
called
might
out
not
to
have
her.
seen. Yeah. He drew attention. Now she's pissed.
She's so pissed that during the next scene, they're outside of Peg Legs,
Oh, yes.
and Daisy's under his truck, and I'm like, are they cutting Bill's brakes?
That's what I
Are they
thought.
gonna murder him?
She's so pissed. She's like, brakes or no, but she's not. They're not cutting the brakes. He hides a key under there.
Hides a
somewhere?
key to his truck under his truck, I guess. Yeah, sure. In the wheel well, whatever. People do that. That's why they have those magnetic keys.
Bill did it,
Yeah.
and then they got the keys, but they're hammered, and so Kat drives the truck.
Yes.
And this is when they have their little. They sing a little RESPECT. Find out what it means to me. They decide, Kitty Cat, take us to the country club, which is, I guess, a fun thing to
whatever
do is
reason,
watch
sure.
the country club cats
Watch
just
the
dance.
old rich people dance through the windows, I guess.
Yeah, well, you have a cigarette on the golf carts.
I thought they were going to steal a golf cart. I
That's-
was waiting for that, but it didn't happen.
And the girls, Cat and not Cat, Daisy and JoJo.
Daisy and JoJo, yeah.
They do a jitterbug. They're having fun. They're drinking, and Cat suddenly sees.
The preppy guy, whoever his name is, who cares? He's with a girl at the country club, and he's supposed to be in Geneva with his grandmother, and she tries to get the two of them out of there, which is dumb because she calls attention to herself, which makes Daisy walk over toward
Yeah.
her and sees him, and Daisy's really mad. And we find out
flips.
earlier that Bill always has big, 5-gallon barrels of fish in the back of his truck.
Yeah, Daisy talks a lot about how it smells bad
I
and
think it's just
everything.
bait.
Yeah.
Yeah. So she backs his truck up to his red Porsche that no longer has a flat tire. And they came home from that date. We didn't talk about the fact that they came home in that Porsche, which means it was fixed. And also,
yeah.
when she walked inside, she wasn't wearing that dress with the bow on it anymore.
Oh, that's
I
right.
don't know what happened to that dress. I guess she returned it that night. She's like, oh, we have to make a quick stop at Dress Barn. I have to just get rid of this. So anyway, she backs the truck up. She dumps a whole barrel full of fish into his Porsche just as he is walking out with this girl. But as we said earlier, the girl is his sister.
Yeah.
Crisis averted immediate. Misunderstanding solved within 5 minutes of real time, 30 seconds of movie time.
Yeah, he doesn't get. She's at first real upset, and she's typical. She does a very Julia Roberts upset. Who is this girl? And he says, it's my sister. She says, I fucked up. And he says, yeah, but you did a good job. And she says, you're weird. And then they're okay.
They're totally fine. It's great.
They're fine. There's nobody's mad.
And that's it. Like, that's it.
Yeah, then that's it. We're okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're okay again.
And I thought with the next scene, because we now see JoJo immediately apologize to Bill. I'm sorry I stole your truck. You know, I shouldn't have done that. I think I overreacted. And he apologized to her. I shouldn't have wrote info all over my boat where your name was. But then he kind of totally does a Bill 180, grows a spine, and totally dumps her.
He tells her, I love you, but all you love is my dick.
Oh, yeah.
That's what he says.
Yes,
That's what he says.
Yes. And all the guys on the boat laugh behind him. It's pretty funny.
Yeah. And she's brokenhearted because he loves her so much, and she does love him, but he doesn't see it that way. He says, how do you think that makes me feel? So he's poor sad Bill, and now JoJo's wrecked. She goes back to the pizza shop, and she's way early for her shift.
You're 3 hours early. So? Whatever. They're all just standing around, and I'm like, everybody must be early. There's nobody in this restaurant.
Well, you have to set up for the pizzeria.
I know.
JoJo wasn't part of the setup, but this is when she has an awesome breakdown that she does here, where she basically has this discussion with herself about what she should do and what's right or wrong, and she gives herself a pep talk, but thanks them for giving her the advice, and they just stare at her the whole time. She asks Leona to give her the secret recipe.
I feel like this is one of those things where some like late teens, early 20-year-old girls in the late 80s who went to Hollywood like memorized this, and this is their monologue. Yeah. I can only imagine how many people did this as their monologue.
It's a great one.
Because it is manic and it is insane, and she genuinely, like, for as much as I really enjoyed Julia Roberts in this movie, like, she does a great job in this scene, and later on when Kat's crying, that actress, Annabeth Gish, like, does a great job in those two scenes. And Julia Roberts doesn't really get one of those types of scenes in this.
No.
But, yeah, she does a great job here.
Yeah. It's fun to watch.
Yeah.
Where are we?
Again, we're just jumping around because now Daisy has to cover for Kat because Kat is drinking wine and watching movies with this guy while she's supposed to be babysitting.
She's really living this fantasy with this guy. She goes fishing with him, and then they're eating popcorn and watching old movies. It's like everything Kat would want out of a relationship, which I don't think she's ever really had one. She's having this pseudo relationship with this married man.
I was wondering that too, because man, like when she breaks down and starts crying, at first I was like, yeah, this is kind of sad. And then I went, I think she just lost her virginity to this guy whose wife was there when she came back.
When she came back, that's so awful.
Yeah.
So she's totally falling for him. She's just, and this night is just another one of those. She forgot that Daisy. She does tell the pizzeria that Daisy will cover for her, but Daisy was supposed to meet Preppy Boy's parents that night. So Daisy is pissed.
Yeah,
Daisy definitely sniffs out that this married guy is kind of a sleazeball and is using her sister, but at the same time, they're not those kinds of sisters where she's trying to stop it from happening.
Right. But I am glad because they do have a confrontation then, I guess, the next day in the pizzeria.
I think it's that night because she sees her mopping up.
Oh, yeah, you're right. I do like it how Kat's like, come on, how many times have I covered for you and taken your shifts? Because I am sure, I can't imagine the amount of times that Daisy has been like, I can't make it in. You know, she's just that type of employee.
That's just how she rolls.
But Daisy does slap her. It's pretty fantastic.
Well, she calls her some. What is she? I think it's because she says about.
This is when she's
Kat
like
makes
bopping,
some comment about her bopping,
like
that's what you do, and she slaps her right across the face and tells her, "Wipe your conscience," whatever that means.
It's a great line to walk out on, I guess.
And then
I can only imagine Kat stood there for 20 minutes going, "What? What is that? What is she talking about?" Wipe your conscience. So I'm not supposed to feel bad about dating a married guy? I don't understand. I don't think my sister knows what the English language is.
She is a Portuguese.
Yeah,
so.
You're right. She is a Portuguese. I don't know if Kat is. I mean, they're sisters, but...
Oh.
I can only imagine that Julia Roberts just felt bad for that maid and pretended she was Portuguese late in this movie.
No, they are. That's the mother. It's what they are, right?
All right. I don't know. I swore they were Italian. I just...
No. I know, but no.
I didn't...
It would make sense too, but no, they're a little Portuguese.
All right.
Community.
I don't mean to get hung up on this. If we have Portuguese listeners, I apologize. I'm a big fan of Portugal and Brazil because that's what they speak in Brazil. Okay, that's it. That's all I got. I apologize.
Man, you.
I just don't see Julia Roberts as being Portuguese.
Did you?
And also, if she's really Portuguese, I am way off base then.
You're like, then you know what? I don't know. Do the genealogy thing on her. What is it? 22 and you?
Yeah.
Or whatever.
It's 22. We're demanding. We're like Julia Roberts birthers. I don't like this, Jamie. We shouldn't go down this rabbit hole here.
You're just going to have to accept that in this movie she is Portuguese, okay?
Right.
Did you happen to know that the lullaby, the Portuguese lullaby that
I know it?
JoJo was singing? Yeah.
No.
I don't either, but she does sing it.
Oh my God. Okay. Yeah. No. I knew that she was singing something that was not in English, and then I went, is JoJo Portuguese too?
Yes.
Everyone in this New England fishing town is Portuguese.
There's a small community of them, yes.
Jamie, are you joking right now?
No,
or is
I'm
this
not.
Real?
I'm being real. Didn't you see how at the wedding they were dancing and the music that...
I don't know music. I don't know.
Well,
I'm going to cut this out. Okay. I don't know ethnic things.
Okay.
I don't know. I'm sorry. I don't have that heritage. You know what I mean? Like my family's
What are you?
My family's Scottish, Irish, English, the whitest of the white.
Okay.
So we don't have that deep rooted anything, and I also think it's probably because we're so many generations removed from being there. I feel like we've been here for so long.
You're
any
just
of that's been
Pennsylvania
bred
now.
out of us, right? Exactly. Mm-hmm. Yes. Tradition, we don't have it in my family.
That's not happening in your family.
So I don't know.
Well, at Mystic, Connecticut, there's a small Portuguese.
Wait, are you
community.
serious? If I looked up Mystic, Connecticut, is this a real place? Or is this all... I don't know what's going on.
This is a real place. I don't know for certain that there's a Portuguese community there, but...
You just told me that in Mystic, Connecticut, there is a large Portuguese population.
I said small population.
I've never felt more in the dark about a movie we've watched here. I don't know if you're joking. I don't know if this is not based on a true story.
It is. It's loosely based on the true story of three sisters that worked at a pizzeria.
They're not sisters. They're not sisters, and I don't know that. I don't know that Kat's Portuguese. I think she might be adopted. She doesn't look like Julia Roberts, and she doesn't look like that mom. None of them look alike.
I don't know what's funnier, that you're cracking at this point. We're almost through this movie.
That mom should have been JoJo's mom. She looks like she would have been JoJo's mom. Little, feisty, whatever.
She tells Daisy later, I didn't always look like this. Right? She has that conversation with Daisy.
It's a whole thing.
Yeah, it's a thing.
Yeah.
Before that thing happens, though.
We gotta move on, because...
No, we gotta... Okay, so, JoJo, for some reason, Kat gets away with having JoJo babysit for the kid, while Kat gets to go on a date with the guy, right?
It's not even as though she's trying to trick this guy. Like, I have something to do. I'm supposed to babysit.
No.
Jojo, you got to step in. This dude is totally down with this.
He's for it. Yeah.
Like, just, your rando weird coworker, tiny coworker wants to come in and watch my child during Halloween and I guess take her around trick-or-treating while we get pizza and go make out.
And have a picnic in
way
this
more.
abandoned house.
Like, this guy is a creep. And it is terrible. Like, Jojo should have said, I am not doing this because this is bad news.
But that's where JoJo's so supportive. I think that Daisy says something like, don't contribute to the downfall of a saint. Don't help her because it's not going to be good. But
I kind of read that as like, oh, my saint sister, she's so great, da-da-da-da-da. Yeah. So I don't know.
Well, JoJo does it, and then they do it, essentially.
They totally do it.
And then they come back in the car, and he's still kissing on her and is, romantic with her. And his wife is there in the house. And JoJo's made up some lie. She's quick. And she says they had to get medicine for
How's
Kat's
your
mom.
mother doing since you went to go get the medicine?
So they leave, and when they do leave, Kat's in this like state of shock. She first of all can't believe that this woman is back, and then he's a real kind of jerk about it. Like he doesn't even acknowledge her or say anything. And I think she's like, don't forget to pay her, which makes her feel even worse.
No.
And
he pays JoJo. He pays.
He pays JoJo, and then they go, and JoJo is a terrible person in a crisis.
She is just like, it is all about JoJo in JoJo's mind. Like
she's going crazy. She is rambling on about, I didn't know what to do. She walked in. Somebody knocked on the door. I thought it was you guys. I almost pissed myself because it was this woman and I didn't know what to think. Do you think she's going to follow us? I don't think she's going to follow us, but maybe she will. Maybe she's going to hunt us down. Do you think she'll hunt us down? I don't think she will. She doesn't know what we did.
Kat is just like despondent.
Yeah.
Like she's just staring straight ahead.
And JoJo is just going on and on.
And also, I do just want to mention, just in case we forget to talk about it, their little pizza Jeep is adorable. Like that thing really that they drive around in with the steering wheels on the right-hand side is so great. I don't think the doors ever close. Anytime a character closes a door, it bounces back open just a little bit.
No, it's pretty groovy. I agree.
And Daisy, once Kat gets home, Daisy gives her some more shit until she sees that she's really broken up about this, and she stays with her. Kat doesn't want her to
they
leave.
have a nice, sweet moment.
Yeah, it's really nice. Yes.
Yeah. Kat is, and like you said, this is for that actress in that moment. Kat is really upset, and you really kind of feel that brokenheartedness that you feel because she says, "Well, she's hysterical crying?" And she says, "Why does it hurt so bad?"
I am so glad you said you felt that because I really did. Like I was sitting there on the couch going, "Oh man, this hurts so much." Like I get it, I understand. Like, and very rarely does that happen in movies. Like, it really is rare for a movie where like two characters break up, where I don't just see it as some dumb movie convention, and I'm just like, okay, when's the next scene? But she really sold it, Jamie.
Yeah, you were sad. You're like, I know, broken heart, and the sisters together. Daisy's very sweet because she just tells her, you will feel better. Just you're going to feel like crap for a little while, though. Mm-hmm. It's a very sweet scene. Very sweet scene.
2 seconds later, she's like, "Stop using my comb. There's all this garbage in my comb now. I can't even use it."
Right. She's still not. I mean, her heart's broken, poor Kat. So the next day at the pizzeria, she's still sort of in a daze. She's serving up
teeth in a glass. Oh, you mean when she serves a uncooked pizza?
Undone. Yeah, she takes the pizza that's uncooked, puts it on the she gets the water. False teeth in water.
Yeah, we saw that earlier in the movie, but yeah.
But the food critic is now here, so she snaps out of her sadness because holy crap, what's his name?
The Fireside Gourmet.
The Fireside. He's there, and So here he goes. He orders this Mystic Pizza, a whole pie. He
A
eats
whole
piece.
pie. This is the point in my notes where I wrote, come to think of it, no one's ordered a slice of pizza in this movie.
See, some places don't sell pizza by the slice. Mystic might be one of them.
Yep.
He takes some copious notes on the pizza after a few bites, but then leaves without dessert and just pays the check and doesn't even take any pizza to go. So we're left to
Bad
think, what does he think?
news. Oh,
Yeah.
I guess they're going to get totally tore up when it comes to his next broadcast.
That's what we think.
In the meantime, Daisy's mom calls her a tramp, basically.
Well, I do like when Daisy. This is funny, because I don't remember this from when I've watched the movie before. Daisy's looking in her fridge at home, and her fridge at home is filled with lobster because that's her mom works the docks, and we have a scene where she's like, fucking, there's a lot of fucking lobster.
Yeah, and this is the point in the movie where I was like, she talks about how she has a dinner date with these rich people, and I was like,
Right.
oh, she's looking in the rich people's fridge.
No,
No, it's her own fridge, and then I went, doesn't she live there? Doesn't she see this every day? She seems shocked by the amount of lobster in this house. And I assume that's how it is every day, Daisy. Like, you shouldn't be that surprised by this.
Maybe she doesn't look in the fridge often enough.
I
She's on a
guess.
strict pizza diet. But you're right. Then her mother basically calls her a slut and tells her, she's real worried about her
Yeah.
because this is not the type of life she wants to live. And Daisy kind of admits too, yeah, I'm worried about me too, Mom. Just doing what I gotta do. Then she goes to the preppy guy's house for dinner. And
We get our Matt
they're
Damon
eating
sighting.
lobster. Yeah, we do get a little Matt Damon. Very brief, very young.
And did something like this happen in Pretty Woman? Or am I thinking about The Princess Diaries? Like where she sits and eats like around a bunch of stuck-up people and she doesn't feel like she fits in. Is that a scene in Pretty Woman?
Well, she does have some
She
scenes
does.
of Pretty Woman. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Okay. I just didn't know if I was thinking about The Princess Diaries, which I think about way too often.
I know. I was going to say, why are you thinking about
Or
that?
if, like, I know that in Pretty Woman, she does the whole shopping thing and it's a whole
Yeah.
big deal that she's a prostitute. But I didn't know if I imagined that she was at like a fancy dinner with
No,
Richard
she
Gere.
does, and she doesn't. They have to teach her which forks to use. And
Oh, okay. All right.
she shucks a snail out or something. It's
Holy
awkward. Yeah,
I think that
pretty
same
fun.
thing happens. Why do I know The Princess Diaries
I don't
way
know.
better than Pretty Woman?
I don't know why you even know the Princess Diaries so well. I don't know the Princess Diaries. But your daughters like it? I'm going to try to save you. Do your
Jamie?
daughters really like it?
I'm going to say yes. That
All
is
right.
exactly the reason
I think
why
that
I
should
know
be.
that movie.
That should be the reason.
And we'll just end it right there. It's not like I've seen it several times before my children were born and have seen it since then many times.
Oh,
Yeah, I should stop talking now.
yeah. I don't think we want to do. Yeah.
My recommendation is The Princess Diaries.
There we
everybody.
go. There you have it.
Check it out. The girl
Oh.
from Welcome to the Dollhouse is in it. It's a good movie. All right. Let's move on.
All right. So the dinner at the preppy guy's house is a little tense because he is clearly trying to pick a fight with his dad. The parents seem nice enough. There is a Portuguese maid there or helper there that they kind of talk to, and his aunt makes a comment about like the Portuguese are hard to train.
They're hard to train. Ooh.
But all of this, she was kind of taking in. It's more
He's
mad.
He is a jerk. Like he is
Yeah.
a total
He wants
straight
to
up
fight
jerk.
with his dad.
Yes. And she gets it. She's like
Yeah.
and when, they storm out or he like, he grabs a tablecloth and like flips food all over the place.
Yeah, he gets ridiculous. Well, because he stands on this whole thing like, oh, yeah, what? She's not good enough. Like, he fights this whole fight that wasn't even happening. And because he tells the dad, oh, you're not proud of me because I can't cut the mustard.
Mm-hmm.
Who says that in anger? But he did. And then, yeah, he folds over the tablecloth and he marches himself out. And she's already left. And he's when she leaves, he's like, I'm sorry for my family. I'm sorry. And she's like, no, it's not your family. It's you. You're the one acting like an idiot.
Yes.
And why did you bring me here? Did you bring me here because I could be your Portuguese girlfriend and you could show me off to your dad and make a point?
Right.
And
she's totally validated in all of this. It makes sense. It's what I was thinking the moment he opened his mouth at this dinner. I was like, this guy is just looking to pick a fight. This is going to be awful. These people don't seem too bad, except for that lady who said she trains Portuguese.
yeah.
Like, that seemed bad, but his parents didn't say that. It was some
they
other
were
lady.
totally nice. Yeah.
His brothers, like Matt Damon. Everybody seems great here.
The sister knows but
The sister's hilarious. She worked at a pizzeria one summer. She gets it.
Yeah, she understands that one summer.
Remember, Mom? I worked at a
But
pizzeria.
so she leaves. She's pissed. We don't know what's going on with them. Then we go back to the pizzeria.
And we go back to the pizzeria, and everything has come to a head. This is our conclusion. It's wonderful. All the men in this movie, except for probably Bill, are creeps. We get it.
Right.
The end.
Well,
Let's go back to the pizzeria.
Phoebe's dad, I guess, Tim, the babysitter guy, comes to the pizzeria, and he gives her a check.
Gives her a check. Here you go. Harvard.
Yale.
Oh, sorry. Yale can be expensive. And I love how she's like, or he comes and he's like, we just wanted to say goodbye. And she totally blows him off to give this kid a nice, heartfelt goodbye.
Yeah.
And then kind of stands up and is like, see ya. And
Yeah.
that's when he gives her the check. And they go
she
out
rips that
and
up.
she sees, the wife's like waiting in the car or whatever. And she goes back and she rips that check up.
Yeah.
And I think JoJo like picks up the pieces and is looking.
Yeah, JoJo's like, you can still cash this, Yeah. But no, the whole point is she doesn't want it, and she'll figure it out. And even her sister Daisy sticks up for her and says she'll figure it out. And then, they are on the TV, and
Fireside
they
Gourmet. It's the Fireside Gourmet Hour. I hope that's what that show's called.
I hope so. He gives them the 4-star rating.
Yep.
Everybody is excited. Bill and JoJo get married. They get married at the pizzeria. There's Portuguese dancing and Portuguese music.
Didn't know what that was. No idea. I was like, I guess this is Italian. They're in a pizzeria.
It's fun. It's lively.
Yes.
The preppy guy does come back. Daisy is scooping chocolate ice cream with her mom.
Yep, sure.
And
why not?
He comes back there and kind of apologizes, talks to her. She makes him scoop chocolate ice cream and then goes out to the back deck with her girls. They toast on some champagne. Our big question we're left with at the end by JoJo is, what the hell does Leona put in that pizza?
Yeah, I could not think of a bigger thud line to have at the end of a movie than that.
Yeah.
And end of the movie. End of the movie.
That's it.
Well, Jamie, you had seen this before.
Oh,
this
yes,
is not your
many times.
first go-round.
No, definitely
with
not.
Mystic Pizza. So, much like Dirty Dancing or other movies you've seen, did you enjoy it this time?
Yeah,
Would you recommend it? Wow,
Yeah,
that was...
I would.
Didn't even
Yeah.
let me finish. Nice.
And I have to tell you, I think that the version of this movie I remember is probably the made-for-TV. Like, there was definitely some of the cursing and some of the language that I didn't remember watching it. But I had seen it, I've seen it a handful of times. I think it's a fun movie. I think it's great. I think it goes quickly. I think I recommend it.
All right.
And for you?
Well, this might surprise you. I don't think I'd recommend it.
You wouldn't.
I
would you recommend it? Like, what about?
Okay, here's the thing. I'll lay it all out because this is not a movie that I hated, but it just like my wife when she heard we were doing this, she was like, "Oh, maybe I'll watch this with you," and timing just didn't work out and everything like that. Mm-hmm. And she told me just today, just before we started recording, she's like, "I've seen that movie like 5 or 6 times," and she's like, I couldn't tell you a thing that happened. And that's kind of how I felt after I watched. Like, it is such a nothing movie. Like, it's not, like, there's no tension. There's no conflict. This is a movie that I could see myself forgetting very, very quickly. And I think just for that, I probably wouldn't recommend it. I enjoyed talking about it. I really did. But I don't I have no desire to see this again.
No.
I thought that the people in it did a good job, but I didn't
Sure.
think they were working with much in this movie.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's it.
Well, there you go. Well, what are your recommendations from it? Is it Princess Diaries?
Well, first of all, yes. Now, Princess Diaries 2, not so much.
All right.
Don't even bother.
Okay.
Guys, I did not say Princess Diaries 2. I've seen one enough. My recommendation is kind of like a qualified recommendation because I don't know if this movie's any good. Because I haven't seen it since 2000. In 2000, I took a girl to see a movie.
Okay.
And it was a movie called The Cell with Vincent D'Onofrio, who plays
Cell,
Bill.
like inside a cell?
Yes.
Like a cell,
Yes.
C-E-L-L? Not the
Yes.
cell, like the sail? Okay.
Right, like a cell, like a prison cell. Yes.
Gotcha. Okay.
And it stars Vincent D'Onofrio, who plays
Yeah.
Bill in
Yeah.
Mystic Pizza. And it is a J-Lo movie
Oh.
in which she plays like a psychiatrist or something. Okay, this shows the prep that I did for this, which I did not look this movie up. So I'm going from my knowledge of it 17 years ago. J-Lo
Fair enough.
plays like a psychiatrist or something, and Vincent D'Onofrio is a serial killer. And I think he has somebody captured, like some woman is trapped somewhere. So she goes into his mind.
Trippy.
To find out the location of this girl. This could all be wrong. But it's a movie that I remember, and this was a date movie. It was a one-off. This girl did not see me again after this.
Oh.
Because it is a crazy, gross, insanely weird-looking movie. J-Lo's not in any movies like this in her other... anything else in her career is not like this. And I don't remember if it was good or not. Like, I remember watching it going...
So it's your recommendation because of Vincent?
Right. Yeah, that's the only
Okay.
connection here.
Okay.
It's kind of a recommendation where I'm saying... if anybody listening has seen this movie recently,
Tell me
please
if it's
tell
good.
me if it's worth watching or if I should not waste my time. The director went on to make a movie called The Fall, which was like more critically acclaimed, and it was a really cool visual movie. I wasn't a big fan of it, but The Cell was crazy. Like it's a crazy movie that if you think J-Lo was in it, that makes it even crazier because it's super gross and it might be terrible. That's my recommendation.
From what you remember. Okay. All right. I like it. All right. Well,
what about you? What do you got? A pizza movie?
I did
Another
enjoy,
pizza movie?
I did enjoy this movie, and one of the reasons I enjoyed it is because you really see this lovely, really nice female friendship that happens with the sisters and the three girls and even Leona and it's a really nice, and they stick together at the end. Yes, they go through the storyline of like, well, who's going to get what guy? Are they're all chasing a guy, but I love that at the end of the movie we only know that JoJo's married. We know the three of them are together at the end, and it doesn't matter what is moving on. It's a solid girl bond. So recently, there's been a show that gets a lot of hoopla, and I finally watched it thinking, well, it must be something, right? If it wins all this awards. The Big Little Lies. Have you seen it yet?
No, but my wife
Reese
watched
Witherspoon?
it and loved it. She thought it
It's
was
excellent.
the greatest. Yes.
Yeah, it is really excellent. And we know from our BMX Bandits that I'm not a huge Nicole Kidman fan. So I was kind of avoiding Big Little Lies, kind of for that reason. And I'm not always into, sometimes I hate things just because people like them, which I know sometimes is not a good thing.
Oh, I do that too. We have problems because I've missed out on great things because of this.
Yeah,
like the Princess Diaries, guys. Go on and watch the Princess Diaries. Everybody loves it, but it's pretty great.
I think I don't agree with the Princess Diaries, but I do think that Nicole Kidman does a phenomenal job, and so does the whole cast does. Zoe Kravitz is in it. It's an excellent show. So I recommend a little binge watch of Big Little Lies.
Right. 2 weeks from today, and this is very appropriate because up here, I don't know what's going on in Tennessee, we are getting hammered with snow and ice, and it's terrible.
Stay warm. Stay safe.
Jamie would tell me that we are in the dead of winter. So we're going to watch a movie called Dead of Winter.
There you go.
Which
I have never heard of.
It stars the wonderful Mary Steenburgen
Hey.
and either Roddy McDowall or Malcolm McDowell. There's a McDowell in this movie.
All right.
And it is a psychological thriller, which we don't do many of those.
Hey.
So we're going to watch that because it's wintertime, everybody. So in 2 weeks, we're going to take on Dead of Winter. And tune in then. We'll talk to you then.
Yeah, we'll be there.
Though we're off to different worlds, somehow we're together. No, we're never far apart, 'cause deep within our hearts, these are the times to remember. The memories will last forevermore. These are the times to remember. It's a part of life you can recall. These are the times. With happy tears we cried as we reached for the stars together. We live by a code to stand side by side, and it just keeps on getting better. When we're off to different worlds, somehow we're together.
Portuguese.
JoJo, who is played by Lily, I was going to say Lily Tomlin, which would make for a whole different Mystic Pizza.
I would like that. I'd watch that. Be like, why is this older woman is a waitress here?
She only takes the 9 to 5 shift, though. Interesting.